Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And real quick housekeeping note, if you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble or BitChute or Odyssey, please hit that follow and subscribe button. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, Google, whatever podcast platform you prefer, please hit that follow and subscribe button so we can continue to bring you conversations like the one I'm about to bring you today. Talking with the men from ESP, Tim and Kris. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Part of the Engineered Society project. And there's so much I want to talk about with just that name alone. But usually when I have people on for the first time, I like to get a quick background. So we'll start with you, Tim. Originally, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was a little kid, I always thought about just being a musician. I come from a family of musicians, and so that was pretty much it, just to play music.
Nice. And how about you, Kris?
I wanted to be everything. My mother wanted to be a country singer when she was little, and her mother wouldn't allow her to be. So she wanted me to be everything. I was like, she lived through me. She wanted me to be a fireman, a dentist, a doctor, but I always was on stage. She put me on stage, so I knew very early that I was going to be on stage. By the age of 5, I was tap dancing and singing on stage.
Oh, nice. And that's what my next question then. Like, when was it that you guys caught the music bug, and what was it that first caught your eye and attracted you to it? And we'll start with Tim again.
I had already been around musicians all of my life. And when I was like 13 or 14, I had a friend of mine that played bass in a band. And I would go to his house every day and play with him and learn the songs. And one night, I guess I was about 14, he didn't show up for the gig, but his equipment was there. So I played the gig, and I had it ever since.
Nice. And how about you, Kris? You said you were doing some tap dancing and singing at a young age. And then what was the music that caught your attention back then?
So that was very little. That was the age of 5. And really, I feel like that was my mother's dream. She was sort of putting through me. I went on to be in the hardcore punk scene. And when I stepped out of it, I was in a band. And I remember writing the lyrics. And I remember the whole process of writing the lyrics, like writing the lyrics down, rehearsing it with the band, and then stepping on a stage and going to the different clubs and singing it to the different people till there were thousands of people. And I remember the night when I got on stage and everyone knew the lyrics. There were like 2,000 people there. And I literally, as I was singing this song, down on the 9 square faces, I was singing it. I slowly started to pull the microphone away from my face. And everyone was singing with me. And I know that's when I got the bug. I was like, this is a relationship I'm having with these people. And I saw the reason I knew the whole process is I actually watched the Bee Gees documentary, because Barry Gibb was in a restaurant and he wrote down "Staying Alive" on a piece of napkin, and he just put it in his pocket. He said, I'll maybe do something with that. And look at where that ended up.
Yeah.
I remember the whole process of just writing it, then rewriting it, then practicing it, and getting it to a point where many, many people were related to it and relating to it in their lives. And that's where you know, for me, that was like heroin. It's like, it made me feel like I had some place in the world. It made me feel connected to other people. And it's really what I live for.
Nice. And then, you know, as you guys like kind of like grew up, evolved in the music scene, when did, you know, what was the music scene like, you know, where you guys grew up at? Where was your hometowns?
Well, I grew up in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I was a teenager in the 70s, which was a hell of a long time ago. And, you know, the guys that I looked up to were people like, my favorite band when I was a kid was a band called Axis. And it was Danny Johnson, Jay Davis, and Vinny Appice. And so we would hang out and, you know, we played a couple of shows with Axis before Vinny got in the band. And of course, when Vinny got in the band, it just, you know, it just took off. The musicians in Shreveport, Louisiana were very good. The scene was very good. And you had to be very good to be a part of it. And we were very fortunate to have that as a solid foundation for the entertainment business. And, you know, I played with Glenn Graves and some of the guys there that were just really phenomenal musicians. So it was very healthy scene. It was very instructional for me.
Gotcha. And how about you, Kris?
I think that's so cool to be in a band with people coming from different places. You know, I think that adds a lot of, you know, real soul to your music, because you're like just coming from your truth. And I was, I believe, third generation hardcore punk in New York City. You know, I say third generation because there was punk, then there was hardcore punk, then there was sort of hardcore, which was sort of like our answer to punk. And, you know, like my heroes were like Vinny Stigma from Front and Ray B's.
I love Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny's my boy, dude. This is like, you know, hey man, let's let it all out. I used to get completely obliterated, and I was in very bad hardcore bands, not music. And that's the thing. Like, if you think about, you know, what Tim just said, Tim's from a very technical. I was from very untechnical. Like, we were about, the point coming through, like a band called Minor Threat would talk about going in the studio and one take. If you said it and it came through, then that's your point. And now, you know, as I progress as a musician, even being around like a great musician like Tim, it's like you go in the studio and you really want to make something beautiful. But I come from hardcore, man. I come from saying it and having it come through. And I think that's what music should be. And I'm privileged to then have gone on to be around people who were technical and into technical music and all that kind of stuff. But that happened. I'm talking like I was in like the New York hardcore scene at like 12 or 13. And yeah, Vinny Stigma, Ray B's, Harley, even like the well, I love the Ramones. I mean, that was like at CBGB's and stuff, but the hardcore is really what influenced me, and the scene that influenced me. And if you look at people now, they're DIY. And I mean, hardcore is the essence of DIY, because we actually didn't want to be part of anything. We wanted to keep everybody the fuck out. Hey, I'm sorry, can I swear? Is that okay?
Yeah. It's an adult show.
Adult show. We wanted to keep everybody out. We didn't want anybody. You actually weren't allowed in. You know what I mean? We weren't trying to like be. We weren't trying to be in anybody's thing. You know.
Yeah. That's the type of music that really influenced me along the way too. And I formed some good relationships. Like Vinny's a friend of mine as well. And then like you know, Ezak and you know, Freddie and all them from Madball.
Oh yeah.
Love those guys, man.
Madball, off the wall, man. Madball's a wild bunch.
Yeah, definitely good times. And so you were part of that that scene. Who'd you get to share the stage with during that time?
Rollins, Henry Rollins, and you know what's so funny is that I got a funny story about Henry Rollins. I hope he doesn't beat me up or something. I played Henry Rollins, and I used to do like sort of a G.G. Allen thing. At this particular show, it was at this place called the Anthrax. I was wearing a wedding dress, and I used to take these plaques Ziploc bags and fill them up with food coloring. And I used to put them throughout everything, and then I'd blow them up, and I'd act like the monster from The Thing, like in that movie. I'd like transform into a monster. I'd rip open the wedding dress. So I do my show, and my band very technical, not very technical. We were called Sold on Murder, and so I get back in the dressing room, and I'm maybe, I don't know, 15, and I walk back there, and me and Rollins have the same dressing room. And he was actually walking in circles around me. He was like getting amped up for his show. And this guy's my hero. And I'm sitting there going, hey, man. And I wanted to shake his hand or something like that. And then after a while, I was like, dude, if you want to throw down, it's like, if you're going to be a jerk to me, you were my hero at one point. That really disappointingly happened to me with a couple people I played with. It happened with HR from the Bad Brains, too, where HR a hero, like the monument of hardcore. Then I played with him, and I'm in the fucking same dressing room with him, and he got up real close in my face and he said, "You're not gonna mess with my children, are you?" He was completely out of his mind on drugs, and I was like, "Oh man, you're like you're my hero, HR man. What, man, what's going on?"
Yeah, and then so let's talk a little bit about when you started really getting serious. You guys started getting serious and playing with bands. Prior to this project, talk a little bit about some of the bands that you've been in, and you can go first, Kris.
Well, I didn't want to be in a band when I first started this game. I was in hardcore bands, I think because, like I told you, I was a tap dancing singer, and it was just sort of like I was in the punk scene. It just sort of became my position. I was in a band called Red Death. I was in a band called Cat with a Mohawk, Allegro Thrash, and then Sold on Murder. And every band, one band made a record. Like we made a record compilation, but nothing to really speak of technically. And then I became a rapper. For me, punk rock was about saying F you. Like I wanted to say F you to everybody just because where I was coming from. And then when I saw the rap kids, I felt as if they were saying the same thing. So I was a rapper and just had my own demo tapes. I would do my solo thing. And this drummer approached me and he said, "Hey man, you should be the singer for my band." And he's a really, really good drummer. And I said, "Nah, I don't want to do that. I'm fine doing this rap thing." And I would get together with him, and he convinced me that that being in a band was great. And it's really, really unfortunate because we formed a huge band and we did huge things. And that guy sits in prison right now, man. He's like he got in big trouble. He got really famous beyond me. He was in the Rolling Stone. He was all these things, but then he got in big trouble and he's in prison right now. So, I mean,
first I thought you were talking about Opus, but I guess not.
I'm talking about somebody Opus didn't get along with. It's so funny, man. They met back in the day because I went from this band to being Gargantua Soul, and Opus would always tell me, "I don't like that guy." Like they did not get along. And now in retrospect, Opus was like, "See, I tell you, man, I can smell a bad one." When Opus had like a premonition about the whole damn thing. Damn Opus.
Yeah. Well, hey man, if you still got any merch for Cat with a Mohawk, I take an extra large shirt. So
my cat has a mohawk. Cat with a mohawk. Stand real tall. My cat has a mohawk. I literally gave my cat a mohawk.
Yeah, so he became the unwilling spokescat for the band, huh?
Oh, completely. My cat had a damn mohawk. You know, she didn't like it.
That's awesome. And then how about you, Tim?
Oh, well, when I first started playing, I just played in mostly local bands and stuff like that. Some decent, good players, just, nobody that, nothing nobody would know anything about. And then I guess, I played in a country band for a while and I couldn't take it anymore. I was about to slip my wrist. And so I was in Jerusalem and I decided that I'm going to play the music I want to play and go back to my roots of the type of music, which was hard rock / metal. And that's when I decided to put together Engineered Society Project. And so when I left Jerusalem, came home and started talking to people, and was able to put the first iteration of Engineered Society Project together, I think in 2015. And it's gone through a couple of different iterations. And so, but now I have the people that I want to work with, and that we just truly love each other like brothers, and we have a great time writing and recording music and playing.
That's awesome, man. You're quite a traveled, well-traveled individual. So you come back from Jerusalem, and the Engineered Society Project comes to be, and you know, I like I said, that name caught my eye when I got the email from Shauna. I was like, I want to talk to these guys, because to me that has like many different meanings. It's like we're engineered from the womb, you know, almost, it feels like, in today's world and culture. So like, you tell me, what was the inspiration for that name?
Well, you know, I was listening to the news, and, you know, looking at the world that we're in. We live in an unusual time where I think that government is taking on the role of engineering the society to an outcome, and, and it's not cool. It's not fair. And what they're doing is basically undermining the values of our country in order to addict people to the government. And it's like, that's wrong. And you can see it every day. It's gotten a lot worse. And so I felt like that I wanted a name of a band that reflected the views that I thought. And I was fortunate enough to find some guys that shared these same concerns and thoughts. And if you listen to our music and read our lyrics and all that, you'll see that's what reflects in the music that we make. We think we send a positive message. I mean, the truth is, at my age now, I'm probably a lot of what everybody is concerned about, you know, just from the race and wealth and all that. You know, after all these years of working, you know, you accumulate a few dollars, and you know, a lot of people resent that. But at the end of the day, our goal is to put a positive message out there and reach the people, and hopefully lift them up, not, you know, dumb them down and all that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like what the government's been doing to us, dumbing down the populace, you know. And that's, like I said, when I saw the name, I knew we were going to have a good conversation, because that's I'm one that likes to dip down many rabbit holes. You know, I've had G. Edward Griffin on my podcast before. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but yeah, you know, so when I didn't even hear a lick of music yet, and I saw the name in my email. I was like, Sean, I want to talk to these guys. And then of course I went and listened and stuff and read up on everything. But before I take us to a whole different you know area, I wanted to get back to Kris real quick. So yeah, you talked briefly about before Gargantua Soul, but you want to touch a little bit about when Gargantua Soul came together and you and Opus came together.
So after I'd been in this band, it was called Blind Justice. We did a bunch of touring. We did a bunch of things. We were actually the very first rap rock band. We did a singing verse and a rapping chorus, and it's the very first one. And you'll never hear about it because the drummer got in big trouble. So it was sort of, I was at a point, very much of a turning point, and then this guy started stalking me. And I was like, who the hell is this dude? And he would come over my house, and I was like, I had no idea who he was. And we started talking, we started lifting weights together, and it took us a while to realize that we almost were like brothers. I mean, we got to a point where we would say a sentence, we'd say, I'm going to get the papers, and Opus would finish the damn sentence. So it's like we literally were like brothers. You know, we toured the world, we did everything together, and Gargantua Soul is literally my heart, you know, and it actually comes through ESP. It's still true today that Gargantua Soul, the huge soul, everybody's part of the same thing. Everybody's made of the same thing. And these things that Tim are talking about, it's not only to talk about what the problem is, but it's to give a solution. And the solution is everybody needs to see themselves as the same thing. So Gargantua Soul, the statement of Gargantua Soul is still the same thing. And as we develop, it's just changing the names. When you stand up and you say you stand for peace, when you stand up and you say everybody's equal, you're making a stand. And that's the stand I made in Gargantua Soul. And it doesn't have to be hokey and it doesn't have to be preachy, but it has to be as strong, because you have to be just as strong as the corrupt government. You have to be just as strong and just as loud, or you'll get lost in the mix and the truth or the right thing will never get heard. So that's really what got spawned in me in Gargantua Soul. And another thing, both me and Opus are workhorses. We work, we put time in, and we build up, and we care about it. I care about the people that start to invest in like I told you about that process of writing a song. I care about the people that invest their time and start to get on the same thing. And me and Tim know there's other people like us out there that know shit is wrong right now, that want to be part of something and want to have a voice in the world to talk about it. But really, it's to talk about solutions. Because if you just complain, you become part of the problem. You just become part of the noise. So I want to make some solutions for people. I want to give a direction for people that feel like they're not really satisfied with what's going on in our world right now.
Yeah. I've had Opus on the show, and we connected on similar lines, and then he connected me with Esteban, his current singer, who I've had on as well. So it's like it inspires me that, because there's like going back to why you named this band Engineered Society Project, Tim. It's just like the propaganda wheels are off, man. The government, everything that we're getting from the TV ain't like news or educating anymore. It's a narrative, so it's like steering people's thinking. And it's like, we need more people that have like a microphone or a output speaking the truth and say, no, look at what they're doing, waking everybody up. So if it's your lyrics and your music, I'm glad that more people are like first awake to what's going on, not fooled and not falling in line and trying to like Paul Revere it, or whatever, by waking others up.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to do. Our tour that we're going to start in just a few weeks here will be the Mytv tour. And we're bringing this message to Europe in 4 or 5 different countries in 10 to 15 shows. And that's what we're about. And our goal is to bring it to Europe, back to the States, and to South America in the next year. Yeah.
And nothing showed us more that, this is a worldwide issue, when all the governments were pretty much in lockstep with the same narrative than 2020 showed us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the word that there's a restless and an awakened mass all over. See what's going on in France right now and everything. So you guys are definitely, it's got to be spread throughout the world, and looking forward to, let's talk a little bit about, this tour coming together for you guys. And is this now, have you guys played Europe before? This is your first time, or is you've been there before and played some of these venues?
I've played England. That's the only place I've ever played in Europe.
What about you,
It'll
Tim?
be our first time. My first time for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Good. But yeah, I mean, you're getting this opportunity to share your message, and like Kris was saying, you don't have to be preachy or whatever about it. Just you're delivering the truth, and those with eyes and ears to hear and see will take it in.
It's time to start making a path for people, because, like I said, man, there's a bunch of people right now who are complaining, and complaining just becomes part of the noise. You have to start bringing people together and making a family. And basically, me, I never had a family. The hardcore like we're talking about those guys from the hardcore scene, that was my family. Like literally, punk rock became my family. Music became my family. So I'm here to create a family for people, a surrogate family, to where you go to a club and you feel connected and you feel like you're connected to something that's going somewhere to make a noise, to change things. Because literally, if you don't change things, you're just part of the noise. You're just part of the static noise. Everybody can say what's wrong. We all know shit's wrong.
Yeah.
And if you start making a way to bring people together, and then this is another one, you know, because I come from the hardcore scene, it's hard to say this, but it has to be said, and it has to be said very loud. Love is the most powerful thing. And basically, how you create peace in your world is you start to say, listen, man, I'm just like you. You're just like me. The color of your skin, your different views, your different religious views, you're different this, you're different that. But there's something in us that is the same. It's the same exact thing. This is what we need to focus on. This is what we need to feel together to start dropping these walls that are between us. And this starts to create a path. And you don't do it in any way. All you do is you get up on stage and you kick ass, but you leave that vibration with people that, hey, we're one here, man. We're one in this. We're in this together. We're not here to kill each other, man.
Yeah. And, you know, too, like, you know, they've been so good at like making it seem like, because they control all the major like media and all that stuff, they make it almost seem like it's not worth fighting. Like we're the minority, you know, that there's, I don't want to say anything because everybody's going to shame me or say, call me this or call me that. They're so great at planting the division. But when you're talking about having people come out to your show, it's an opportunity for more like-minded individuals to realize, hey, I'm not alone. There is a, you know, I think, what was it? There was like a 3% is all they needed, you know, during the Revolutionary War, you know? Yeah.
You notice my shirt? That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And there's a lot more than 3% of people that are awake, but if we just trusted everything we saw on the screen, we'd think, oh man, it's just not worth it. We throw in the towel. But you guys are providing an opportunity for more like-minded people to come out, hear a message, and, you know.
Well, it's a big thing for people to really come out and enjoy the vibration. This is a great band. We have our boy Jojo Brown. He's our guitar player. And really what I look for is I look for magic. You know, basically, and there is some type of, you know, Jimi Hendrix burning his guitar in this band for me, just from my experience. Tim is a great bass player. Our drummer is Sean Salinas. He played in Circus Olay, and he's a phenomenal drummer. And also, I'm into songwriting, and I'm into, I like, you know, I talked about my process of writing music, but I really love music. So I want to affect people with music, and in the vibration of it, I want them to feel connected. I want them to feel connected to us, and I want them to feel connected in the world when they walk away, you know, and, so really, it's more putting it in the vibration than even talking about it. And for me, I'm a meditator. I traveled all the way to India to learn how to become not suicidal, not, you know, sad inside myself. So really, meditating, doing yoga, doing my martial arts, basically creating a peace within myself is like lighting my own candle. And then I can walk around and light another person's candle and turn their light on till we all realize that we are the light. Everyone is part of the light. We're all the same thing.
Oh yeah. Amen, dude, for sure. And a lot of us, you know, like you said, they throw every little thing out to divide us. Either it's political party, or it's like, you know, color of skin, or it's gender, and it's, you know, they're throwing everything, but we're all the same people. We all are light beings. We're all vibration.
It is deeper than that. And literally, one of the first things that interested me in Engineered Society Project is that I went on and listened to the music, and I understood that Tim knew that there's a deepness to it. And we actually talk about it in some of our music, about when you watch TV and there's a little girl in a really nice looking field, and she has a little white dress on with a pink bow, and then this name comes on, Rebexlia. and it doesn't tell you what it is, but then it says, call your doctor, you should get it. And it doesn't even tell you what the damn thing is.
Yeah.
So really, there's a programming that's going on, and it's very commercially subtle, and it's very, very attractive. And that's why I said, if you just complain about shit, it all just becomes noise, and then you have a bunch of robots, because then everybody's going to get programmed by Rebexlia, Anaphylaxia, all these weird chemicals. I mean, we can laugh at it, man, but look at man.
No, it's for real, man. They use the subliminal messaging and the symbolism and stuff like that, to suck you in. But like we were talking about with the vibrations, this is like, when you're in that love, like you said, you're in that love and that faith, you're at operating at a higher, vibration. They like to keep us in fear and hate in the low vibrations, and then we don't connect. But when we're in love, we connect, man. And
that's why I want my music to be like tough, because I do not want the Jedis. We're the Jedis, man. We are the revolution, and I do not want it to be soft, because we have to stand up in a time of chaos and say love and peace just as powerful as hate and destruction and human separation is being said. But the thing, like I said, it's subtle.
Yeah.
We're fighting a war that is commercially very, very, very powerful. So you have to be powerful too, man. And we try to make power in our music, and we want people to feel that power and strength and connection to us.
One thing I'd like to say about all that, my goal for Engineered is, when you come to our show, we see a lot of people in our business, and you never know what individually each of these folks are dealing with. There's a lot of troubles and stuff out in the world. And my goal for the band, and we talk about this from time to time, each night we go on the stage, I want to give those people a break from whatever they're dealing with. Come see a band that plays well, sings well, has good music, and take a break from all your troubles and have a great time. And we're there to entertain you. We are in the entertainment business. It's not my goal to brainwash anybody. Just come in and have a good time with us and just relax and enjoy.
Exactly. Yeah. And then connect to us. Basically, having that entertainment, but then Facebook.com/Engineered Society Rocks. Link up with us. We talk about the hardcore scene, and this new social media thing is the brand new thing. But it's cool, though, because now you can come to our show, and be entertained and feel that vibration with us, and then connect with us, and then we can be eternally connected throughout this fucking madness.
Yeah. And then, we talked a little bit about already, but, your single that's out, I Stand for Peace. Talk about the writing process of that and the message.
It happened immediately. Like, literally, I walked in the room with Timothy Moss, bass player extraordinaire, and JoJo Brown. I mean, JoJo Brown's not up here. Me and Tim can tell you about this. JoJo Brown is this southern, soft, beautiful man. He's like a gorgeous guy, and he's like, how you doing? He's like really nice. Then he gets on stage and he transforms, man. He's like Yngwie Malmsteen or something. And we actually wrote our first EP almost in our first time getting together. And that's why I say I look for the magic, because chemistry and connection are a real important thing in a band. And we were able to connect with each other on a creational level very quickly.
Nice. And so how many now? From what I was reading too, I'm in the Cleveland, Ohio area right now, but before you became a part of the band, you guys worked a little bit with Tim Ripper Owens. Is that true?
Yeah. There's a story behind it, and it's probably worth telling. I was in Houston, and we had our first iteration of Engineered put together, and COVID kind of hit, and some of the players were not available, and then they got the bug to go play in tribute bands to make a few dollars. And I decided that, hey, I think everybody that, that needs to follow their dream and do whatever they want to do. But to me, being a tribute band has nothing to do with the music business. I'm in the music business to make records and play shows and sell records. And so I have worked with Wynn Davis at Total Access Studios and his son, Steve Ornest. And they're good friends of mine. And of course, Wynn is a legend in the business. He's worked with everybody that's ever been anybody. And some of my favorite artists like Ronnie Dio and people like that, he helped do all their records and stuff. So I was talking to Wynn and I said, I want to do another record. I've got JoJo and I, but we don't have a drummer right now and our singer's off doing other stuff. He said, well, don't worry. We can find somebody because you guys are good. And so through some discussions, we talked about some possibilities. And, I remember Vinny and from way back, and obviously from watching him through the years, he was probably my favorite drummer. So just for giggles, I said, well, Wynn, if I get to pick and choose, I want Vinny. He said, well, I'll call him. I about fell out of my chair because, I didn't know Vinny well. I'd seen him a couple of times when I was a kid. And so he called Vinny, and Vinny said, sure, I'll do it. And, Vinny knew that I was from Shreveport and knew Jay and Danny and all that. So then we got to talking about singers. And once again, thank God for Wynn. He said, well, Ripper would be a real good fit. Both Steve and Wynn felt like Ripper would be a real good fit for the material that we were doing. And so they got in touch with Ripper. And of course, he, out of the grace of God and the goodness of his heart, he said, yeah, I'll come do this. So we all come to California and we make this record. And I was very blown away that, we would be in the company of some of the best people that's ever been in the business. The record came out fine, but we knew when we made it, that Vinny had his commitments and Tim had his, and they were so much better than what we had. So we knew from the get-go that deal wasn't going to last. So we put the record together in order to get that out and then see if we could shop for people. And then we basically found Sean, and then we found Kris, and it was just an immediate fit. So we've just been very blessed and very fortunate to have each of us in the band. And that's just kind of the way it went down.
Nice.
And to this day, those guys are still our friend. We saw Ripper at the Metal Fest, just a few weeks ago when we were there. I know Kris and all them guys were at the hotel lobby, and they all had dinner and partied and all that. I'm old, so I was in bed probably, but anyway.
I feel you, man. I'm an early to bed guy myself nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ripper's, like maybe an hour away from me, here, so, he's definitely done a lot. So it's cool that you had his stamp on some of the early stuff. And then, like you guys had before this tour coming up in Europe, what other opportunities have you guys had so far to play some of this new material out for a live crowd?
We actually got up at a place, Arcadia, and is that the 11th, Tim? Is that the 10th or 11th?
That's the 10th. We haven't played in Houston in years, but a friend of mine, Tommy Skinner, has a club called Acadia in Houston. So we called Tommy, and he graciously gave us a date that we could do while we were home. And so we're going to play there. We just did a deal with the Whiskey to go play on the December 27th with Great White, or Jack Russell's Great White, however you call it. We've spent most of our time in California. We've played the Whiskey several times. We've played in San Francisco, Sacramento, and other clubs in Los Angeles. We kind of feel like Hollywood's a second home for us because those people have been so good to us. We try to get to Hollywood on a regular basis, and we're going back there. But that's kind of where we've been. And we've got some feelers out. We're going to have an opportunity to be home a few weeks, so we sent some things to talk to people, and some of our agents and management people are looking. We'll probably play a few Texas shows, and then we'll start rehearsing for the European tour.
And have you had a chance to, support, some of the tracks from Mytv?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live show too.
Yeah.
how's the reception been? Like, what's one of the favorites to play live?
My favorite was definitely Mytv. I love singing the chorus, and we actually played the Milwaukee Metal Fest with Ripper Owens, and we got, like, I was amazed by the response, and so many people came. It's just another show you played there, but I was amazed by how many people responded and really sort of. Metal can be cultish. You know, I'm from the hardcore scene, and actually talk about my boy Opus. Opus actually introduced me. He was in punk rock first. I think he was in a band called The Putrid, but then he was in a band called Sapphire. So while I was doing my punk thing, I think he was sort of developing metal, and metal is like its own like cult following. But this show was amazing, man. Like I was so surprised by the Milwaukee Metal Fest and how it was almost like the modern day hippie. There were these beautiful people that were like, hey, you know, you'd hear in the hallway, and then I walk up to people and they go, hey man, how you doing? How's your oh man, I loved your shit. I'm like, what the hell? Who the hell is this, man?
Yeah, it's so cool that Jamie Josta brought that back, man. You know, that Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Jamie Josta has been my friend since I was younger. Jamie Josta was in a band called Josta 14, one of the biggest bands happening around when my band Blind Justice was going on, and Jamie really just showed everybody how it went. He like started putting stuff together, and he's one of my heroes, man.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. When I was on my last deployment, he sent me a care package from Stillborn Records and Hateware and all that to share with all the guys that I was serving with, man.
He supported Gargantua Soul. He basically offered any of us, if we were doing heavy stuff, a deal with his label. Unfortunately, I had gone on and done some really like weird eclectic stuff that was really like pop and like piano and all these different things. So I really couldn't do anything with Stillborn at the time.
I did want to say this, you know, I wanted to give credit where credit's due. You know, Opus with Mind Snap Combat has been the catalyst for our band. Opus has been really a great friend of us, a great mentor for me, and he's had a lot to do with the success of our band. So is Jamie. You know, we're booked next year for Metal Fest and another festival in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I forget what it's called, but we have been fortunate to have some input and some help for some very fine people, and Opus and Jamie, these guys, Shauna, they do such a great job, and it really helps us, and we're just very thankful for them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Shauna's amazing. She's she, like I said, connected me with Opus, and Opus connected me with Esteban, and now she's connected me with you guys. And yeah. And yesterday was her birthday. She was doing all this on her birthday. So
yeah. We wished her happy birthday.
But so the European tour is getting ready. You're getting ready for the European tour. I see you're playing with the Lord Bishop Rocks. Is that the band or whatever? Have you had any connection with them before, or is this going to be the first time?
It'll be our first time with Lord Bishop. I mean, this guy constantly tours Europe. I mean, there's no telling how many hundreds and maybe thousands of shows he's done. He's well known over there. And so we are just excited to be with him. I think he's originally from Brooklyn, New York, and some of my family's from New York. So this guy really knows the touring ropes over there. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of folks are over there touring. A friend of mine, Marco Mendoza, who, you know, who's played with Whitesnake and everybody, he's in Spain right now. And it's just the business over there is so much more accepting of touring original acts, and the people love the music. So we're just excited to get over there with Lord Bishop and his group and, you know, do this tour and just get a whole new group of people to play for.
Nice. And so yeah, so you guys like, what's the process been like getting ready for this? You know, like has it been pretty kind of like stressful, hectic, getting all the, you know, your papers and, you know, all that stuff ready, or has it been a little bit easier than you thought it would be?
Well, it's a lot easier than I thought it would be. And shout out to Pop Killer's management. I can't remember their names and all that, but they have handled our paperwork coming over there. Obviously, we all have passports. All the tour logistics are being handled by them, hotels, food. And so that's really nice. Basically, if when I say we're literally along for the ride, we just really are.
Nice. And like, what's the latest on the? Are you guys working on the new album and stuff? And
Right now, we're in the process of writing about 6 songs, and what's really cool is you go through that sort of honeymoon. And I believe walking in the room, like I said, we created Mytv very quickly, and I think right now we're learning how to write together. We're learning about each other. We're learning about, how to. And I tell you, man, that's what puts the cream in my coffee. And literally, there's always a song that comes to mind when I think about this kind of thing. It goes, I want to live in a rock and roll band. I want to sing just as loud as I can. And literally, in the beginning of this interview, you were talking about how I got into it. And that's just sort of how I found myself, was being the singer for a band and every aspect of it. Like, getting together for rehearsals, recording, playing shows. You're connected to a person that has the same focus as you. And I think a lot of times when we're walking around the world, you feel so disconnected, you feel lost, and you feel separate from other people. And for me, it's about getting together with people that you can write with, that are on the same page. So right now, and actually our first song that we're sort of like, actually Sean and Jojo were just talking to me about it last night, is called Kamikaze of Love. That's the one on the, if you were going to say it's on the burner right now, we have it on the stove and we're cooking. And really, I think our first Mytv came around really fast, and now we really want to like dip our hands into, writing songs together. And really, that's out of anything that you do, I think that we want to be a songwriting machine. We want to figure out how to express ourselves through our medium, which is, releasing music.
And now with this opportunity to tour together in Europe, it's definitely going to, be, a way to connect you guys even deeper, going off to a strange land together, kind of, seeing some new sights, but also these new experiences will, I'm sure, be inspirational and something you'll take away that will go into the writing process of the next album.
Yeah. Well, I sort of have my own numerology. I'm the number 5, and 5 change. And when things are sort of put on my plate, I think about some of the concepts of where I come from and really wanting to change. That's why I said, we talked a lot about this or about that, which is a problem in the world. And really, more than talking about the problems, I think just innately, when I personally am writing, I'm looking to change things. If someone's suffering, I want to look at my own suffering and how I came out of suffering, like that type of thing, like changing. So really changing your world, changing the world around you, along with being an entertainer and along with being, I want my, like we talked about vibration, I want my vibration to change things. So I want to go, it may be a big fantasy or whatever, but I want to go to Europe and change something. I want to change, maybe, open up some new things. And that's where I was in the first rap rock band in the world, and literally I did that when everybody said you couldn't do it. And actually, I did it everywhere. And if I believed in it, I did it, and I didn't give 2 shits. So literally, I'm the same kid, man. I'm the same kid who's going to come out and make my stand for peace and go, hey, man, if you're not down, there's the fucking door. I've made my stand. I've made my statement. I'm here to change shit. I'm not here to just go along with something if I don't believe in it, man. I want to change things.
I try to teach my daughters that too, about, how you can manifest, with faith and that higher vibration and belief, but it takes work behind it too,
Yeah, actually just today, me and Sean the drummer is actually learning some of the meditation techniques that I do, and I feel really blessed because that's actually something Opus did. Me and Opus got together and we sort of learned about each other, and we combined like sort of the different things that, try to keep you when you're on the road. You got to keep healthy. Basically, you got to be able to, play or whatever. So me and Opus really were able to trade secrets about how to stay in shape and stay healthy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm grateful that me and Sean Salinas, the drummer of Engineered Society Project, is doing the same thing. Like, we're making a family unit where we care about each other, we care about each other's health, but optimally, we want to get on stage and kick motherfucking ass.
Nice.
Kris. Easy, Kris. Easy, baby.
So I want to ask you guys a couple of questions I normally ask my guests before we get ready to wrap up here. And I figure with a lot of what we've been talking about, you should have a good answer for this one. But what class do you feel should be mandatory for kids before graduating high school today? And we'll start with Tim.
I think there should be a class that thoroughly teaches and explains the federal budget and the effects of the deficit, and so that people understand before they graduate high school how the budget is put together, what's the impact of overspending the budget, basic math, and just understanding what's really going on. The biggest thing today is that people don't, 2 out of 100 may understand what's actually going on in the budget. Me being a business guy, I do. And so they just, if they had the skill set that they need for math and understanding that, they would not elect the people that's been elected.
Yeah, agree. How about you, Kris?
That's so awesome. And that's why I'm in a band with Timothy Moss, because literally, if me and Tim were coming from exactly the same place, I think we're in the complementary place. When I was 5, I tried to hang. I took a telephone wire, I climbed a tree, and the only reason it didn't work was because the branch broke. By the age of 5, my life was hell. I was living with a 525-pound woman who was drinking herself to death. My reality sucked. She slept all year round. She only got up for birthdays and holidays. So literally, my life is looking back to the child that I was and how I'm so fortunate now to be in Engineered Society Project in my life and doing my dream. And what I like, the kid, I look back to the child and I see myself. Like I said, I think that's a real key to life, is to see yourself in other people. What I would like the kid, a big thing that helped me is meditation. When I quiet my mind and I bring a vibration of peace in myself, I actually change. And I think there's an art to living. I think that the children today need to understand how to handle their emotions, they need to be taught how to handle their emotions. And the way I do it is through meditation. So the most important thing that's necessary in our schools today is taking quiet time. Because if you fill the mind with all this information, but the body is not at rest and not at peace, it's not able to take the information in. You're just with a bunch of information. You need to quiet down. Quiet, my child. Be at peace, because that's what I didn't have. That's why I freaking put a noose on my neck by the age of 5. So literally, when I leave this world, I want that to be a message out there that our children need to know how to take care of themselves. They need to know how to take care of their bodies. They need to know how to be at peace within themselves, or we're making an army of unrestful little kids that are going to become criminals. if we don't teach because I was going to become a criminal, so it didn't work killing myself. So what I did is I went out wild in the streets and I started fucking people up and I started breaking things and I started robbing and I started doing all this stuff that I didn't want to do, but I wasn't at peace with myself. So the child needs to be at peace. And then they need to take in the information that Tim just talked about. Once you relax, you then can be given information, and then you take it in, you can absorb it, and then live it. You can live the truth of prosperity. You can live the truth of unity. You can live the truth of knowing the knowledge about your country and its deficit and all these kind of things. But until you become peaceful, your mind is just a madhouse, and that's from personal experience.
No,
So
I agree, man. Part of my big healing since I been out of the military and after my last deployment has been, prayer and meditation. I work a recovery program. I'm 14 years sober, and I try and do more of that, to quiet my mind. I had a lot of social anxiety too. I guess that's why I would numb so much going out to be amongst people. And now I'm at peace. I can we had a big festival this past weekend. I went to see 4th of July fireworks with a big crowd, and I'm at peace now because, I found a way through prayer and meditation, and doing this podcast helps me. It's healing for me to have conversations with strangers and stuff. And,
Are you Bill's?
What's that?
Are you a friend of Bill's?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So really what I was talking about is the 11th step. Through prayer and meditation. And literally, so by the time me too, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm a friend of Bill's. And literally that's exactly what I did. And this is also what puts me and Tim on the same page, is through prayer and meditation, I find contact with my higher consciousness, my higher power, because literally a lot of times that's what can do it. That's where love comes into play. That's where peace comes into play. I just need to get out of the way. I just need to sing. For me as a singer, I just need to sing it and not talk about it. But to people like you, I really appreciate you, man. We're both friends of Bill's. And just by doing this podcast, we've changed it, man. Because the people who listen are going to go, wow, man, I'm not feeling good today. Wow, I feel an unrest inside myself. I feel bad. What are they talking about? What sort of art of living are they talking about? What sort of meditation are they talking about? So literally, by doing this podcast, we've changed the atmosphere. And that's what I'm all about. Every step of my life now, I want to be a part of the Jedi. I want to be a Jedi that changes, regardless of what happens. And it's so corny, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. That's it's an old line from an old thing, but it is, man. And I don't care if I win or lose. I don't care if I die in the process. The wanting to reach out to that child and say, my child, just relax, take a deep breath, and get in touch with yourself. The biggest part of yourself is love. The biggest part of yourself is this. Now stand up as a warrior and help me fight the system. Help me fight the things they're trying to sell us.
Yeah.
Make a stand with me, my child. Stand up and become part of the Jedi. Become part of the revolution. But I can't do it in a stressful way, because if I just scream in their face, you're fucked up, the stress, it's like fire versus fire. We have a song, Blind World. And the lyrics go, in a blind world, madness abounds. So basically the idea is, in war, if I poke out your eye, then you're going to come back and poke out my eye. Then I'm going to get a knife. You're going to get a gun. Then I'm going to get a bigger gun. Then you're going to get the nuclear bomb. So literally, when I come up to you and I go, the same things we talked about in this podcast of seeing each other as the same thing, sitting down, finding a meditation and going, hey man, let's make some solutions together, but not in a hokey way, because literally that's the child I was. I'm talking to the 13-year-old kid that I was. I never want to be someone who, I want them, like Tim said, I want to entertain people. And then I want them to come on to Engineered Society Rocks, Facebook.com/Engineered Society Rocks. I want them to connect with me, and I want them to feel as if they are changing the world with me.
Yeah, and through this way of meditation and connection and the higher vibrations, we can re-engineer Society for Peace. Right?
Yeah, man.
Amen, man. That's awesome. Great. That's why I always try and be open about my life and stuff, because it opens doors for people to feel comfortable sharing where they're at. And, since I've been, I'm just a vessel here, man, and it's brought so many amazing people into my life, and it's good. Like you said, somebody out there is going to listen, and, then let God do the rest.
There
you go.
Is, like I said, I'm a singer, and that's the main part. The line goes, my TV is trying to kill me. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna kill my TV. And what that means is you don't destroy your TV. You don't destroy the beautiful technology that's been created. You destroy the corruption that's gotten into it. This is the most beautiful country in the world. I don't care what anybody says. We have such a blessing in this world, and people who diss it can get the fuck out of here, man. The thing is, if you know that things are wrong here, help us change it. Don't just say, oh, this place is fucked up. We know it's fucked up. We know the government is fucked up. Now, let's fucking change it. Don't just take a shit on the place where you eat. And literally, some people may not like that saying, but I love this place, man. I love my people. I love the world. But, dude, I love where I live, man. And I'm grateful for the freedom here, and I'm grateful for what I have. But I do know it's corrupted. I do know there's evil here. Now, we've all said that complaint. Stop saying the fucking complaint. Join Engineered Fucking Society Project, and let's change it. Stop complaining.
Amen. And then before we get ready and wrap up, like talking about the people out there, that the powers that be can pull them one way or the other. But I always have to support them because of my background and everything. But any message you have for our military members that are currently serving overseas?
I think first and foremost, we appreciate what they do. Several members of my family have served in the military through years, and people don't understand the value of that person overseas projecting the American power. That's what keeps us safe. And, so first and foremost, we appreciate what they do. And while I'm there, I wanted to tell you that we appreciate you having us on your show. Every opportunity that we get to talk about what we do and what our message is just very appreciative.
Well, like I said, when I saw the name of the band, it caught my eye, and obviously, my higher powers, wanting to connect our hearts. So,
yeah, baby. We live in a world that has walls. Those walls need to be guarded. They need to be protected. Are you going to do it, Colonel? Whatever the hell his name was. Basically,
Come on, Kris.
what was his name? Colonel Jessup. And a Marine. There were times when the Marines would come home and people spit on them. Like, dude, they are protecting. They're dying. There's people dying for us, man. People that don't acknowledge and celebrate those people who are willing to die for our country. Fuck you, man. Fuck that. This is something that's so honorable, and the warrior inside. And that's another thing with meditation and stuff like that. I reach out to the warrior, that noble soul that will give his body. And thank you, man. Like thank you for serving our country, man.
You bet.
That stands up in a warrior, and I acknowledge that. The same as I reach out to the children, and I'm going to help the children of our world. I reach out to the veterans, and I reach out to the warrior souls that one, those who gave, those who died for the cause, and also those who are willing, right now to go and defend beauty, honor, strength, dignity, all the great things, all the good things, man.
I really wish there was a way that we could. I wish I knew who to contact. I would love to go play some shows for veterans, and it doesn't matter, anywhere in the world. We don't care where. But that would be the ultimate for us, to give an opportunity to entertain the troops somewhere.
Yeah, Armed Forces Network is usually puts a lot of those together. When I was on my last deployment, the lot was different because I had 2 kids at home, so it's like idle time wasn't good for me, sitting around and just thinking about what I left back here. So I always volunteered to do more and more, and I got the opportunity to be do the security for a lot of the musicians that can't. Like I was Scott Stapp from Creed came over and played our bass, and I got to be security for him and Everclear for Art and everything, just to keep my mind off of what was back home. But man, it meant a lot to us, people come out and play for us and be there with us. So Armed Forces Entertainment, I believe it is the group that would bring them over, like with the USO and stuff. So
Good.
Might be something to look into, man. But I know you plugged it a couple times already, but for any people out there listening that might be new to hearing about you guys, where do you want to send them so they can know more? And
the first place that we're trying to build right now is www.facebook.com/Engineered Society Rocks. And it's a new time. I was big on MySpace, basically.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And literally having a social media following is a way that we can reach out to people. We're on all social media. Our stuff is available on all Spotify, on YouTube. But the big thing is it's really important to congregate right now. Engineered Society Project wants to create a family. We want to create a worldwide family. That's why we're going to Europe. Then we want to come back here, and we want to, we actually want to travel. We want to go different places and spread our word. And basically, we're coming back. We're going to play in the Whiskey. We're going to go back east and doing some shows. I'm talking to Opus about doing some shows back there. And basically, keeping the Gargantua Soul family connected, because that's the thing. Things haven't changed for me. I'm still about the same thing. In Gargantua Soul, the street team was called the TFN. And the Transcendental Federation Nation. In my band before that, it was more simple, though. It was called the AGC, All God's Children. And literally, I can't believe that I said something like that, because literally I come from the streets. I come from hardcore. So actually saying all God's children, but we are all God's children, man. We're all in this together, and we need to feel that. And that's that vibration you were talking about. It's literally, that's the vibration I want to get across to veterans, that I want to get across to children. And those two right there, if you just say that, here's a man who's willing to give his life and go and die for his country. Literally, I want to give that vibration of connectedness to that type of person. And the same thing with children, man. These kids are out here walking into schools and killing each other. Remember we were going to school? You know what it's like going to school now? You hear about it every day. A kid is bringing a gun and killing the teacher and killing 25 other kids. That's how upset they are. If we don't take care of these children's mind and teach them meditation, that's the world we're going to leave behind. So literally creating a vibration, creating a family, facebook.com/Engineered Society Rocks. Connect with us. Connect with our music. Your TV is trying to kill you. Know it. Know when you watch Rebellicia, that is a death sentence, man. Learn how to do it naturally. Learn how to take care of yourself. Learn about yoga. Learn about meditation. Learn about yourself.
And that's the problem. Half these kids are on Rebellicia or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
if we take care of it, with that drunk kid out there riding on the highway is going to smash into your car. If you just ignore it, it's not like it's going anywhere. If you don't take care of our planet, it's not like you're not going to be the one that the freaking homeless, dude, the homeless veteran who no one supported, he's going to be trying to break into your house tonight. If you don't take care of people, if you don't take care of people's minds, then we're all going to suffer for it.
Yep. Agree, man. Well, guys, man, I appreciate the time. I don't want to keep, I know it stays daylight up there in Alaska, but I'm sure Tim wants to get out and see some more sights, and take it in, man. So
Thank you.
But if you guys get out and play some shows, man, talk to Ripper, play his club. I'll drive down and see you in the flesh.
That
If you guys come out and play some shows, like talk to Ripper, man, play his club.
that'd be awesome. And also, what we'd like to do is like to reconvene with you after we get back from tour and do another podcast with the band. Could we do a podcast with like the other band members, maybe?
Yeah, we could probably set something up for sure, man. Talk about your experience and, you know, how that's influencing writing and everything going forward and what the energy was like over there compared to here where we're poisoned all the time.
And how we change stuff. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the change that's happening by standing, making the stand for peace in a time of chaos.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you.
Guys take care.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Louder Than Life, September 21st through the 24th in Louisville with Foo Fighters, Green Day, Tool, Avenged Sevenfold, Godsmack, Limp Bizkit, Pantera, Queens of the Stone Age, Weezer, Megadeth, Turnstile, and many more. Get your passes on sale now at louderthanlifefestival.com.